Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today it's the 1976 Jefferson nickel. We see Jefferson right down here at the bottom. We also see a bunch of other 1976 coins around the top. First, let's just talk about the nickels and how many they made and what they look like. So it's Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, facing to the left. It says, "In God we trust," in front of him. Liberty behind him. There's a star there. And then it says 1976. And you'll see that this coin is a little ragged in here. It got hit pretty hard with something. But this isn't anything that adds value. Probably only takes away value. And then the D at the bottom for Denver right there. There's an F and an S for Felix Schlag. The engraver of this coin first came out in 1938. If we go to the back of these coins, we see that it is Monticello here, Thomas Jefferson's home. 5 cents here. What we always want to do on these nickels is to look at the steps. And we see that there's some pretty good steps on here. Other than that little dent there, this would be a really good coin. But then we see there's a chunk taken out over here. There's a chunk over here. These marks probably aren't from a bad die. They're probably from something that happened after this coin was minted. At the Denver Mint, in 1976, they made $564 million. At a mint state 65, this coin's worth $25. At a mint state 67, it's worth $3,500. They also made them at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia Mint means no mint mark down here. $367 million. At a mint state 65, it's worth $250. A mint state 67 with the full steps, it's worth $3,500. And finally, they made them at the San Francisco Mint. The San Francisco Mint would have an S down here, only came in the proof sets. They made 4 million proof sets. And if you get a proof 70 deep cameo, $875. But if you go down to a proof 65 deep cameo, it's only worth $5 for the San Francisco Mint coin. Many of you know that 1976 was a special year for U.S. coins, but it was not a special year for the U.S. nickel. Because the Mint was focusing on all of the other coins, they didn't put out that many quality nickels. And so you almost never see a full steps nickel from 1976. In fact, you see this one? This is almost like a die break. It's so bad. The steps actually don't even go over to the left all the way. There's this big kind of bump in it. So because the nickels, and you see the scratches up here, because the nickels weren't taken care of very well, that's why we have some really high value nickels from 1976. And because the nickels weren't collected and saved like the other coins, we don't have as many of the high value nickels as we would have otherwise. That's why we wanted to look at some of the other coins here. This is the Eisenhower dollar from 1976, and you see it has the bicentennial dual date here, 1776.1976. President Eisenhower, it's a clad dollar. They had the Eisenhower dollar before 1976. On the original Eisenhower dollars, there was an eagle landing on the moon. When they came out with this coin in 1976, they put the bicentennial dual date on the front, and they put a different back on here, the Liberty Bell and the moon. They did the same thing with the Kennedy half dollar, and you see the dual date here. Again, it's a clad half dollar. They did have these in silver, and they had the Eisenhower dollars in silver. And then on the back, instead of the eagle on the back of the Kennedy half dollar, they put United States of America half dollar, and then Independence Hall in the middle, and 200 years of freedom on this side, E pluribus unum on this side. For the quarter, they changed that up too for the bicentennial. Dual date on the front. We get to the back, and instead of the eagle on the back holding the arrows, we have a colonial drummer, and we also have an eternal flame here and 13 stars going around it. And you see it says $quarter at the bottom. So the quarter got a upgrade too for the bicentennial. But then when we get to the dime, we see the same front on the dime, no dual date on the dime, and no change on the back. So the dime didn't change. The nickel didn't change. In fact, the nickel's back didn't change from 1938 to 2003. And then in 2004, they came out with the Lewis and Clark expedition backs. And then the penny. And the penny, they didn't do anything to that either, just a regular Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny back didn't change between 1958 and 2008. Then in 2009, they came out with the Life of Lincoln reverse pennies. So they didn't change the reverse on a nickel, but that actually helped the prices of the nickel, because people grabbed all the half dollars and all the Eisenhower dollars and all the quarters and kept them. But they made so many of them. In fact, they made sets that only had the dollar, the half, and the quarter in them. And they made so many of them that they're not really very valuable in most cases. The nickels, the pennies, and the dimes from 1976 can be very valuable, as we saw. You can get a Philadelphia one up to $3,500, a Denver one up to $3,500, and a San Francisco proof coin at $875. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.